This is an original story in its original language and is not translated. Ena's World, Chapter 1. A young woman slowly opened her eyes, the light so bright and unexpected, she cringed as she spoke her mind. Oh, fuck my head. That cringe would have made her mother smile. Oops, she whispered. She was worried that her mother would say something to reprimand her, but no words followed. She squinted until she could get used to the bright light. Other than the light, she noticed something else. She was laying on the ground, close to a tree, which should have been impossible. The last time she could see, and the last time she opened her eyes, she was in a hospital room. Her eyes had not worked for at least 2 months, and her mind started to shut down, which put her into a coma for most of that time. Aila could now see things she shouldn't be able to. Her eyes had stopped focusing almost 6 months ago, while she went blind 2 months prior. Aila looked around slowly and closed her eyes as her vision swam, her brain not yet adjusted to the new input. The fact that she could see at all made her stop moving and open her eyes again. Sunlight, she whispered. Her eyes slowly adjusted to the bright light and her surroundings came into focus. Why am I not in the hospital? She whispered again. Her head slowly moved, and the expected discomfort did not crowd her awareness. And why the fuck am I on the ground? Aila was quite upset as she knew her parents took good care of her. They would not abandon her out in the sticks like this. The nearby wall with visible mortar lines had recently refreshed with lime wash, keeping it white and acting as the sacrificial layer to protect it from the weather. That was something she remembered from a book. Stone bricks? There are no houses made of stone bricks in my state. Everything is either a stone veneer, a brick facade, concrete, or wood. Her voice croaked as it seemed to crack from a lack of use. The place she found herself in was not a ruin, but what looked like an old medieval village or something even earlier. She tilted her head slightly, but her vision swam again and her stomach protested with an unexpected response. Oh, fuck. She turned over quickly, her mind protesting even louder than her belly, with all of her stomach's contents being expelled forcefully. Blech. She vomited out the bile within her stomach and a large blob of black, foul-smelling tar. Aila reached out as she rolled onto her side and touched a nearby sapling. Green life energy flowed from her hand and into her chest, lighting up her eyes from within. So comfy, like a cloud flowing into my arm, she said, her voice as soft as the sensations running through her middle. The sapling turned to dust under her hand. Ew, she said, her nose scrunched up. The black goo she spit up along with the bile was almost as bad as her excrement back before she was on an IV drip. Her dietary restrictions made her life far too hard for a teenage girl growing up. She had only turned 20 when the cancer took everything from her. This is... Wait, she frowned. That black stuff, isn't that like those cultivation novels I used to read? She looked at the black substance and pushed herself back from it. It's not just the toxic buildup from my body, but it's the disease that was killing me too? Is that possible? Her eyes narrowed as she looked around. Trees, plants, grass, weeds, and any bugs that were close by, they all glowed with that soft green light. Green. Isn't green supposed to represent life? She asked and touched a nearby clump of grass that had wide blades, thick and tall stalks, and a seed head on top. The grass withered and turned to dust so fast, while her palm glowed with a soft green light, she didn't even have time to react. It is life energy. She inhaled a deep breath and exhaled easily. Her eyes had closed as she enjoyed the deep breath that she had not been able to perform for over a year. As she opened her eyes, she saw the dark brown gas she exhaled. I still have a lot of garbage in my body. But cultivation? This doesn't feel like spiritual energy like in those novels. It's telling me something else, she said, her eyes narrowed. Elements, she whispered. That is what it's telling me. The elements of the world itself. Wait, what is telling me that? She rolled her eyes, more than confused, as what she just discovered was not told to her in words, but intent from everything around her. She looked around again. But I'm not in the hospital. Where the hell am I? For the first time in 5 years, Aila's legs were able to carry herself to walk around the village she found herself in. I'm still not strong, Aila said, and sat down on a stone near the path. I don't sense any people around me, just plant life. Maybe some bugs and a few birds or rodents, but there are no large life signs nearby. She pursed her lips a little. This makes it easier to see what is going on around me. I won't get ambushed by an enemy? Aila slowed her words down, her words faltering as a man came around a corner. His eyes were sunken in and cloudy, his cheeks hollow, skin dry and pale white, and he shuffled his feet as he moved. Aila watched the man open its mouth as he saw Aila only a few dozen feet away. Blackened teeth, dry lips, and a hunger filled the man's face. A black gas-like substance surrounded him as he approached. Aila turned pale. A zombie? Aila had the life element within her body, and due to what she had just absorbed from the grass and the sapling, it was more abundant than a normal human. The result was that Aila looked especially tasty to a zombie. With her body still weakened from the disease that almost killed her, and still not recovered, she could not run away. The zombie continued to shuffle towards her, mouth open, growling with hunger, its hands now lifting to grab hold. "Stay away!" she said, and held out her own hand to push it away. The black gas that surrounded the zombie began to swirl. The eyes of the zombie that held unhealthy attentions toward her turned vacant. The crazed look of hunger faded, its hands returned to its sides, and its step forward ceased. The black gas evaporated before her eyes. The mottled black element of death surged from the zombie's chest and entered Aila's palm. The zombie's dry skin withered further and turned to dust. A black stone within the zombie's chest cracked, turned as gray as the stone beneath its feet, and dissolved. The zombie's bones fell to the ground, no longer held together by rotted muscle and dried-out ligaments. Aila blinked, the fear she once had now gone. The zombie, a powerful being that could tear apart most first-realm elementalists, a term Aila would learn in the future, had all its power stripped away. Huh? Aila was confused. Why did it fall apart? She stood still, her hands still outstretched, and looked at the pile of bones. Where did that black gas go? Aila wandered throughout the village, checking each house as she explored, and found half a dozen zombies who turned into a pile of bones after she passed. The first time she absorbed the element ended up being the most difficult, while each time after it happened as easily as breathing. Something passed through this place and killed everyone, she said. Her voice seemed to be quite loud, as there were no other sounds made by any other people, although she spoke quite softly. With the number of huts, shacks, and houses, there should be at least 40 people living here, she mused quietly. Once turned into a zombie, their relative age would be hidden. Their backs would bend forward due to a zombie's shuffle and a lack of direction, and their skin would shrivel and wither. Outwardly, there was nothing that allowed her to see how old these people were at their death. She stopped. There was a path nearby. Tracks, she said, and knelt down. Dozens of people walking. It was an ancient road, now barely a footpath, but the disturbed dirt and grass crushed under the feet of 2 or more dozen people was fairly easy to see, even for a novice like herself. Were they zombies when they left? Aila did not know what world she ended up on, but if she followed the crowd, she would find out how cruel it could be. Entire villages often disappeared when the strong gathered, intent on silver and gold, uncaring about how they got to that point. Whether stolen goods or people, the weak often died while the strong survived and thrived. End of chapter 1.